Francis Heyliger, you may proceed at this time.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Madam Chair, quick question. Has these testifiers been sworn in, just out of curiosity?
No, they have not been sworn in.
Well, you know, I'm still a little traumatized from my last meeting, so I'm trying to make sure. But thank you. Quick question. I wanted to make a statement as it relates to the closing of accounts, because I too am one of those individuals that closed an account a year ago. And in closing this account, I got a letter from WAPA stating that you sent me my money. Not only did you say you sent me the money, you also sent it with interest. I am still awaiting these imaginary monies. I'm still waiting for them to show up. As a matter of fact, I got a form for my taxes for the interest on these monies, but I never got the monies. Wow. So I fully understand what my colleague was talking about, because I find it strange that you're refunding people hundreds of dollars for me personally, and I've never laid eyes on them. So I called multiple times. So when I hear my colleagues speak of these incidents, they are happening. I want to ask a question. When my other colleague spoke about VTOL, what was the situation as to why some of these studies that caused this project to raise exponentially, why weren't these studies done prior to, as opposed to after a contract was created?
Yeah, this is Larry Kupfer, and so you're correct. Normally, when you get into a project like that, you'd like to do the detailed design and a more robust cost estimate. However, in this case, the authority was faced with the refinery, had closed, so its fuel bill went up by 30 to 40% when it closed. The fuel bill at the time was about $275 million a year. Mm-hmm. So propane would save the authority 30%. Mm-hmm. So roughly, over $60 to $70 million a year of savings would have resulted in getting those propane facilities online as soon as possible. So the decision was made that they would proceed based on not having the detailed design information.
So basically, because you rushed into a situation, it cost us almost an additional $100 million. Is that what you're saying?
Well, again, I think, the money needed to be spent, because it was the design studies resulted in those additional costs. But the authority then would have been faced with, hey, do we want to do this project for $160 million? Or should we just stick with our $275 million a year fuel bill?
But I think for me, not only as a senator, a resident, and a consumer, when you come to the public and you sell us a bill of goods and tell us this is the case and we're all in support of it, and then after the fact we're hearing, hey, guess what? We kind of didn't do what we should have normally done, and it's now costing us millions of dollars more. You could see why there's a lot of questioning on the part of the public as to if they can really trust a lot of things that's being told to them. I have another question.
It was certainly a controversy when it happened. I'm happy to report that today we have now installed more propane-fired generators. Just in the month of February, we were at 84% propane, 16% 2-oil. So the project is now, consuming the amount of propane that was envisioned.
Good. So we are seeing the savings that we initially wanted to realize.
Yeah, certainly. COVID-19 has had an impact on commodity prices, but leading up to COVID-19, propane was 45% cheaper than 2-oil. That spread has narrowed considerably because of COVID-19, and I have no idea where it's going to go from here.
Okay. Another question I want to ask about. We touched a little bit on street lights and making sure they're up to par, maintenance. I have a question I'm trying to understand, and I'm going to agree with one of my colleagues here that spoke to senators having to act like super commissioners. And becoming an elected official, I know as a legislator what my job is, but all the additional stuff we're doing to help the community, it's interesting. One of the things I have been trying to do is assist a particular area with a street light having no type of lighting or bulbs working for about 3 years. In stepping into this situation, I have called WAPA. I have asked for assistance. They told me to get the tag number on the pole, which is missing. And after we called back, they said, well, go and try and see if you find another tag number on the same street. Okay, we're looking for that. The question is, I said, well, if we get the tag number, will we be able to get it replaced? Do you know what we were told by WAPA? We don't have any light bulbs. So I'm sitting here scratching my head. What are we paying out for these lights to make sure the public is safe, as well as what is the maintenance being done to make sure that if a light goes out, and do you keep light bulbs on stock in case you need to switch and change one out?
Time.
Because to be told that you don't even have light bulbs, and even if we do provide you with this tag, you still can't help us. I'm very much concerned for the safety of the public. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, I will, and then I'll turn it over to Clinton, but it's part of the Petra problem. We have 900 lights here in the territory, but they're in storage that was leased by Petra. Petra did not pay for that leasing, and now money is owed to those landlords. So we're trying to get our hands on that inventory.
So basically,
Clinton,
it's a
you want to update
landlord
us there?
fight. Oh, wow. What? Okay. Madam Chair, may I ask one more question? Thank you. And this is a question directly to anyone that wishes to answer me. One of the things that has concerned me as an individual is sometimes the crossing of individuals being on boards and having major responsibilities within government. And I would like to know, do you think it's effective to have the Property and Procurement Commissioner as the chair of this utility, the board? Because this is something that's very critical to our community. And I do applaud Mr. Thomas for all of his hard work as the Commissioner of Property and Procurement, but I'm questioning the effectiveness of him being able to focus on that job and still have to split it as chairman of a board that is so critical to our infrastructure and potential growth as a territory. Any thoughts?
I was waiting for Commissioner Thomas to respond. Commissioner Thomas, are you still there?
I am, but I think in all fairness to the senator, she asked you to respond, and
Okay.
so I would hold my response.
I can.
Yes, it creates difficulties for Commissioner Thomas and the other GBI members who are on the boards. At the same time, it's very difficult to find people to fill these board positions. And I know, VINGN struggled with that to find, basically private citizens to serve on these boards. So
Mr.
it's,
Copper?
to me,
Mr. Copper,
I think, yes.
with all due respect, the person, Ms. Commissioner Thomas, the question was really for you. Could you please give a senator a response?
Well, okay, I can consider myself to be a commissioner on steroids, but I figure that if the legislature are doing multiple things, I guess I as a commissioner at the Department of Property and Procurement can do multiple things as well. However, I was appointed to this position by the governor, and the governor has put me here as a public servant at his request. Come June, there's going to be another vote. I have tried to share this before. I do not do the dated work, but what I do is I manage the board's relationships during the time of the committee hearings. The board is a 9-member board with 3 chairs. Me, the governing board chair, and 2 committee chairs. Those 2 committees, one for planning and then one for finance, is the one that evaluates and processes everything that comes up to the board. And once it comes to the board, then
I
I
wanna
would
know the
manage
effectiveness.
that particular
Do-
part. Okay, so
Hold
I
on.
just was sharing.
Okay,
And lastly, if I can finish,
Go ahead.
you asked me a question. If I can just finish. Lastly, the board
Mr.
chair
Thomas?
sign off. on
Mr.
document
Thomas,
that,
Mr. Thomas,
is approved
hold on
by
for
the
a
board.
moment.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right.
The question I asked was to the effectiveness. I understand there's a whole, do you have a vote on this board? Do you have a vote on the board?
I do.
Okay, so therefore you are critical to the board. So telling me about
I am.
everybody else's responsibilities and you also have a vote is very important to me, because in order to utilize that vote, you have to know what is happening, what is going on, and you have to be very keen in knowing what's happening with this utility. And if you have to split your time between being the commissioner of property and procurement during a time when we have COVID, we have to deal with all these federal monies coming in, how can you focus on a utility that is such a major problem in this community, not only to just the residents, businesses that might need to come in? It's a lot of things caught up. I am not saying it's your fault because you were placed here. I'm saying we have to do better in making sure that the people that are over these boards and commissions, etc., have the time, the know-how, and the capability to be effective on them so the people can get the best service. That is the point I'm trying to get to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't think it's a valid point, but you have the right to
Thank
your
you,
opinion.
thank you. Mr.
So-
Thomas, hold a second. I need to gain control of this meeting for a second. Mr. Thomas, you are commenting to things that you haven't been asked, and you continue to throw shade like a mango tree. And it's really unnecessary in a meeting
I
where
would
we are
not
trying.
be
Mr. Thomas, I am
disrespecting
speaking.
the-
Mr. Thomas, hold a second. You and I have good dialogue and we have a good relationship. Let's keep it that way. Respect my position as a chair. On the streets, something else. But respect the committee, and she asked a very important question. Very, very pertinent question, and you know, to go around the bush and to tell us about that is unnecessary. Now,
So,
hold a
can I
second.
add something, that's all?
No, you may not add anything to the record. You've already added
That's the
enough
problem.
shade.
See, but that's the problem.
Hold a second.
That's the problem.
Media, mute. Media, mute.
Well, sir. And the one waiting on a respect for us. Well, sir.
The questions are valid today, and I don't have a problem muting anybody's mic. And the discussion didn't have to get to this point. It really didn't. And we asked these questions, just a perfect example, and I intend to bring it up whenever the Committee of Government Apps has a meeting, but simple decisions made from the board, like Glencore. Glencore providing you number 2 fuel oil. And for some reason, the board granted an extension to Glencore because you needed the oil, and WAPA is paying $13,000 a day to provide, for Glencore to provide you oil and pay to keep the barge in the Caribbean basin. $13,000 a day. And you don't need the oil every day because the utility is reliant on a different type of, reliant on propane. But you're paying $13,000 a day for oil that you don't really restock on every day. And those are the decisions that's being made and approved by the board where there is cause for concern. Because you can't make this payment and that payment, but you could pay $13,000 a day for that. And a 6-month extension was just granted. So we do have to question the intent and the level of attention to detail. Now, there was